Hey everyone, in this video, we're going to discuss how I finished graduate school with a newborn baby and a full-time job so that you can, number one, learn about the best productivity tools and leadership guidelines that help me. Two, learn from my failures in this season. And three, apply it to your own life to get through really busy seasons. If you're new here, my name is Jared, and I'm a high school teacher turned leadership coach. Since I could remember, I've been obsessed with productivity. When I became an adult, I started passionately pursuing leadership skills. I was able to put all of that knowledge together and to the test during a really busy season in my mid-20s. When my wife and I had a newborn baby at home, a 2-year-old, I was working 48 hours a week as a teacher and enrolled in full-time graduate school. I had a mix of failures and successes, and in this video, we're going to explore both of those through the lens of productivity and leadership. If you'd like to skip forward or rewind, I've included chapter markers below. In this first section, we're going to explore productivity successes as I share my 3 favorite productivity tools that help me through a really busy season. My first favorite productivity tool that really helped me out is called the Ideal Work Week. Basically, I would look at my calendar in a week view and create repeating events for my non-negotiable items like class or family time or homework, date time, church, etc. I would then use that as my skeletal structure and stick to it pretty closely throughout my weeks. I would then revisit this schedule as my class or work or family time changed. For the most part, it stood pretty consistent for a few years. I highly recommend that you design your ideal work week for this season of your life and start leaning into it. It will help you. My second favorite productivity tool that helped me out is called batching. Basically, whenever I had a set of tasks that were similar, I would postpone doing them until I can do them all together at the same time. At home, that meant that I would do laundry every day, but I would only fold it once per week so that I could batch the folding together. At school, that meant that I would often do all of my essay writing at the same time, or I would do all of my reading at the same time. This was a huge tool because it essentially helped me eliminate the constant attention switching between different tasks. So if you don't already batch your tasks, start to do it now, and you'll see a huge benefit in your time. My third favorite productivity tool that really helped me stay sane during this crazy time was exercise. Although this isn't a traditional productivity tool, I cannot tell you how beneficial it was for me to make time to exercise during this season. I exercised twice a day during the work week as I rode my bike to and from work, and then I went on about an hour-and-a-half bike ride every single Saturday morning. I don't drink coffee now, nor did I drink coffee back then. So exercise in the morning really helped me wake up. And because my workday was pretty exhausting, exercise before I got home helped me unwind and also wind up to be either engaged with my family or my schoolwork. I cannot express the absolute value that exercise gave to me during that time. If you don't already exercise, I highly recommend that you start to exercise regularly, even if that's just for 5 minutes a few times a week. Soon enough, you will see the benefit. I'm curious, have you tried any of these productivity tools? Let me know in the comments below. In addition to successes, I had a ton of productivity failures, mainly in the tools I failed to use. The first productivity tool that I neglected was my sleep. Like exercise, it may not sound like traditional productivity, but when you get good sleep, or conversely, when you lack good sleep, it either makes everything better or worse. For me, my lack of sleep made me really, really anxious, and when things got really intense, I would get extremely emotional. Granted, I was in a unique season because even if I had tried to prioritize my sleep, my newborn baby did not allow that. That being said, if I could give my past self some advice, it would be prioritize your sleep, even if it's just taking a lunch nap for a few minutes. The next productivity tool that I neglected was going slow. Like sleep, it may not sound like a traditional productivity tool, but when you do not go slow, you miss out on a lot of key moments that happen. For me, when I went so fast with things, I missed out on small moments with others. I did not have a ton of mental headspace to go check in on my coworkers or on my friends to see how they were doing because I had to get to the next task. Otherwise, I'd be behind schedule. I did prioritize a few select people to go slow around, but in general, I moved really, really fast. If I could give my past self and you a piece of advice, it would be, if you have to go fast, but carve out at least an hour a week or a day a week to just go slow and check in with yourself and with others. If you're liking this video so far, please hit the like button, as that helps YouTube share this video with others who might benefit from this. In this next section, we're going to talk about my favorite leadership tools that I use to help me get through graduate school with a newborn and a full-time job. The first leadership tool was learning to say no. Basically, I had to say no to myself a ton. No to my TV shows that I wanted to watch, or movies, or being lazy. I also had to say no to a lot of my friends' events, hanging out, and having extra time with them. I learned to say no to anything that was not in my ideal work week calendar. It was hard, but really critical for me to stay focused and be successful. This season crystallized the fact that we need to say no to most things so that we can say yes to the most important things. I highly recommend you learn to say no by practicing saying no a lot. The next leadership tool that was really helpful was staying connected to my vision. When I embarked on the graduate school journey, knowing I had a toddler and another kiddo on the way, I took time to write out my vision for the season. It was a small and simple statement of what I wanted to accomplish and why. Once I wrote it, I regularly reread and kept it at the forefront of my mind. It's a small thing, but it really helped me because there were a ton of times when I wanted to give up on school and just be done. For me, giving up on my job or family was never an option, but postponing school was always on the back of my head. I highly recommend for you to have a vision for the big projects or goals or whatever you have going on. Everyone needs a reason to keep going when they've got nothing left. So having a written vision can help you keep going. In addition to successes, I had a ton of leadership failures. The first and biggest leadership failure for me was not taking care of myself. There is a principle in the leadership world called sharpening the saw. And it basically means if you want to chop trees down faster, you need to keep your saw sharp. In this case, the saw was me. Like I mentioned earlier, I did not keep my saw sharp when I denied sleep and other aspects of my self-care. Although I did not pay the price right away, I did eventually pay the price a few years later. Unfortunately, my lack of sleep and the mentality that I did not have to take care of myself landed me in a world of health issues that were really painful and very financially costly. If I could give my past self and you a piece of advice, it would be sacrifice other things, but not your sleep and your health. The next biggest leadership failure was having terrible communication with my spouse at the beginning. So when I started my journey, I wrote my vision, I designed my ideal week, I started saying no to many things, and I did not communicate that to my wife. After a short period of no communication, thankfully, my wife made sure she was looped in on things. We talked about the vision, the schedule, and all the things we would be saying no to. At the same time, we scheduled regular check-ins to see how I and she was doing with everything. I'm really grateful that she brought that up, because if she hadn't, I probably would have led us down a path of marital distance, frustration, and eventually bitterness. And that would have negatively impacted things at home, which would have impacted my headspace and emotional space to keep going with things at school and at work. If I could give my past self and you a piece of advice, it would be invite the key people into your life when you're really busy and let them challenge you, ask you hard questions, and listen to their advice. Hey, if you're enjoying this type of leadership and productivity content, please get subscribed so that you can get more of this content. The aim of this video was to discuss how I finished graduate school with a newborn baby and a full-time job so that you can learn about the best productivity and leadership tools that help me get through this crazy season. 2, learn from my failures, which were many in this season. And 3, apply it to your own life so that you can get through really busy seasons. If this video interested you, please go ahead and check out this video where I discuss the dark side of time management and how my obsession with productivity negatively impacted my purpose, relationship, and health. I'll see you guys on the next video.